084561111.
Now, it's important, right, to caveat. We want some workable solutions here.
Yeah.
We think it out a little bit, because just saying, technology, that's going to solve the borders. Just put technology in. Yeah, but how though? How's that going to work?
We need examples of it working now somewhere in the world. If you can point to somewhere, well, because we've heard an awful lot about, certainly in Northern Ireland, the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, it needs to be an invisible border. It can't be any actual physical infrastructure. So how is that going to work? And it's all very well saying, we'll design something technological that will be available in 5 years' time. No. It needs to be something which is being used right now that you can cite as an example. So a solution for now.
You never know. Theresa May could be listening. You never know. She might be going, do you know what? That's a really good idea. Why didn't I think of that? You never know. Probably not going to be my shrink ray idea.
They don't think of everything in Downing Street. There are people who are paid to come up with ideas, and they might just have overlooked something, and you might go, do you know what? It is obvious. Yeah. Why don't they do this? And if you've got a great idea in solving any of the problems that are now faced, then please do give us a call. 0800 756 1111. I'd like to bring in Jason J. Hunter, who is a former international trade negotiator. Thanks for joining us on the show, Jason.
Hi, Daryl. Hi, Lauren.
Now, what we've said is we want to try and keep politics out of this if we possibly can, and look at the problem that we're faced with, and how do we actually tackle those issues without breaking the red lines that the EU have obviously got, and certainly our red lines, that keeps the integrity of their single market, that keeps the integrity of the United Kingdom. That's Great Britain and Northern Ireland together. Where do we go, Jason?
Well, if you start off from the position that it's impossible to make a success of Brexit, it's insolvable. Now, I'd hate to shorten your entire show, of course, with one sentence.
No, but it's happening. I mean, that's the thing, Jason. It is happening. In 6 months' time, we are leaving.
Okay, well, let's set out exactly what's happened. All right, the UK have been talking about a deal or no deal, and no deal's better than a bad deal. And Theresa May's running around saying that. I'm part of Three Blokes in a Pub. I don't know if you've come across it on YouTube. I'm the middle guy. We took it upon ourselves to go and do some fact-finding. So we went to Geneva last week, and we spent all day Thursday and Friday talking with some of the leading international trade experts on the planet about what no deal actually means. We spent 12 hours in meetings in Brussels. We went to the Commission, we went to the Parliament, we went to the Council, and we spoke with business leaders over in the European Union to find out exactly what all of this means. And first of all, the EU have been looking at this as part of what's called the withdrawal agreement. Now, the withdrawal agreement is how we have an orderly separation of the United Kingdom from the European Union. This comes in two parts, but the first part has three pieces. And this is the legal separation.
Right.
It's a solution to a permanent backstop of avoiding having a hard border on the island of Ireland.
Yep.
Citizens' rights and making sure that we can guarantee those into the future. Mm-hmm. And thirdly, the financial settlement, which we're now down to about 39 billion, I think it is.
Okay.
Now, if we don't solve the legal piece, those three legal pieces, then we have no withdrawal agreement.
Right.
The second part of the withdrawal agreement is what they call the political declarations or the annexes, and those are not legally binding, and they would be subject to discussion, assuming we get a WA in place. Following March next year, we then sit down and we begin talking about trade agreements and comprehensive free trade agreements and all the rest of it. But if we don't have a WA...
A WA being a withdrawal agreement?
Correct. If we don't have those first 3 points concluded and agreed,
yep,
it will be catastrophic for the United Kingdom. Now, let me explain why.
Okay, but just before we move on to that, how catastrophic will that be for the EU, or will they take it in their stride?
Do you know, one of the things that we picked up was that they are so prepared for a no deal, no withdrawal agreement. They're ready. I mean, what Theresa May said today, the EU have been preparing for this. They are absolutely ready. They'll take a small hit. Places like Rotterdam, for example, will suffer reasonably badly because they've got a deep water port, and the UK don't. UK don't have those deep water ports. So when we have things coming into the UK from the States, Canada, China,
it comes in via ships, Rotterdam because that's capable of.
It's then put onto smaller boats, which then come over to the UK. And all our exports go out the same way. So Rotterdam, all of that stops, you see. No withdrawal agreement and no deal.
Okay.
So we talked to the guys in Geneva and said, look, what do you think? What's our next step once we're out of the EU? What if we do get, and what if we don't get the withdrawal agreement signed? And they said, basically, you're up the creek. And I said, well, how? Why? And they said, well, the first WTO-style trade agreement that you're likely to get would be probably with a country that's got a liberal trade policy and a democratic liberal-style government, and that would probably be the quickest and fastest and easiest, and that would be Canada.
Right.
So that would take about 2 years. He said the rest of the world will be ruthless with you. They will sit back and they won't give you a trade deal. What they'll do is they'll sit back and they'll wait and they'll watch for the next 8 years or so until you've completed your comprehensive free trade deal with the European Union, because that makes complete sense for them.
Okay,
They'll be looking at this.
Is it not in their interest? I mean, surely a trade agreement is in the interest of both parties. So what have they got to gain by sitting back and waiting?
Protection of the largest single trade bloc on the planet. Oh, sorry, no, so you mean the other countries?
Yeah, countries outside the EU, yeah. Well, I mean, why can't we, once we're outside, the plan, obviously, is for us to strike trade agreements with other countries outside the EU. And you're saying they'd wait and make us suffer?
Not me, these are the guys. Yeah, they would, absolutely.
But why would that be in their interest?
Because one of the things that came up in discussion was the agri-food sector. Agriculture, dairy farmers, meat farmers, crop farmers in the UK.
Yep.
It would be in other countries' interests to destroy that and watch that get destroyed, because they will be able to ship in cheap imports to start with to undercut. If you follow the Brexiteers' logic, let's just lower all our import tariffs to zero so we can import all this cheap food from South Africa, from China, America, wherever. And that will undermine the UK farming sector. Now, farmers are already in trouble because they're going to lose their subsidies. Their feed prices are going to go up. They'll increase. The fuel cost of getting that feed into their farms will increase. And the cost of moving animals to the slaughterhouse will be more expensive. And at the same time as all of the exports of food outside the UK to any other country in the world, the other countries, third countries, will have to apply what they call third country tariffs, because they have no trade agreement anymore with the United Kingdom, because we lose that when we leave the EU. So all these other countries, why are they going to keep buying from the UK when it's more expensive, when they can buy it somewhere else more cheaply where they already have a free trade agreement? They'll stop buying from us. Our agriculture sector will be what they said was specifically, your agri-foods in the UK will be dead within 18 months and a maximum 2 years under every single model that we've run.
Okay, right, Jason, I'm hearing you say a no deal is a really, really bad deal. I get that.
I've only just touched on agri-foods. You wait till I talk about manufacturing.
Well, okay, but I hear what you're saying, that we don't want no deal. We want a deal. And that's what the Prime Minister said. We want a deal. That's actually what we're trying to achieve. But what deal can we strike with the EU that basically maintains the integrity of their single market, because Donald Tusk said that's very, very important to them, and obviously maintains the integrity of the United Kingdom, that doesn't result in a border in the Irish Sea?
It's already there. Well, if you think about it,
we are leaving. We are leaving. We're not. This is not a case of let's ignore the referendum. We are leaving. It's set in UK law, isn't it, that we leave on the 29th of March next year?
Currently, yes. I mean, this solution clearly. I mean, 17.4 million people did not all vote to devastate the UK economy. They did not vote to jump off a cliff with absolutely no deal, no withdrawal agreement, no nothing.
No, but they did vote to take control of their laws, of their money, of their immigration policy, of a number of things which are red lines.
I thought let's not rerun the referendum because we've done that, because we had all of that.
Absolutely.
But let's focus on where we're at. The options we've got on the table are to accept the EU proposal, which keeps Northern Ireland inside the customs union. Now, Northern Ireland's kind of a special case anyway. It always has been since 1920, whatever it was founded. They have different laws in Northern Ireland to the ones that we have in the rest of the UK. On abortion, on gay rights, on gay marriage. They've got loads of different laws, and they are treated differently. So to have a border down the Irish Sea of some description, or customs controls between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK, in order to preserve the safety and the sanctity of that poor island that's been through so many troubles, the only solution is that. And if Theresa May sticks by no withdrawal agreement, no discussions about anything else, we're done, and walks away from these talks, you will have to have a border between the Northern Ireland and the Republic. and all of the horrible stuff that comes along with that. If
But
you're
that's
not scared about
precisely
losing
what
your
she
house-
said today she doesn't want. She said absolutely she's not going to split up the country. She doesn't want a hard border between the UK and Northern Ireland. That's not in any way what she wants, is it?
Yeah, it turns out that she's not just completely incompetent, but she's totally irresponsible as well. I mean, seriously, how on earth can she possibly say, I mean, she's asking for everything and she's got nothing in return. She's not offering anything in return. It's like Kazakhstan.
Well, you say that, but I mean, there's an awful lot of money on the table, Jason. So I wouldn't say she's offering nothing in return. We leave, but pay an awful lot of money on our way out. So
if you think about it, it might be a lot of money to us, but the European Union economy last year was 15,300 billion euros, 13.3 trillion euros. I don't think they're going to miss a one-off payment of 39 billion. But if they do, then so be it. But frankly, they are so well prepared. Bear in mind, they still have 27 other countries to trade and work with completely friction-free within the EU. They also have another 60 countries around the world where they've already got free trade agreements. They've replaced the United Kingdom's economy with Japan's, which has got double the population, double the potential customers, and they've now got a tariff-free trade deal with Japan.
Okay, Jason,
they don't need the UK.
Can I bring in one of our listeners who wants to ask you a couple of questions? Is that all right with you?
Yeah, please do.
Andy's in Ramsgate. Andy, thanks for calling.
Right, yeah,
You're on BBC Radio. Okay, good.
Okay, I'm just thinking about the custom union. The EU is now saying that Northern Ireland needs to stay in the customs union, whereas that's not actually possible, is it?
Well, Theresa May is ruling it out. She's saying that in order to do that, we would have to split up the country, and she doesn't want that to happen.
Well, yeah, it's not possible for other reasons, though, isn't it? I mean, you think about the unionists in Ireland, they don't want the union, the Northern Ireland, to be treated any differently from the United Kingdom. So that would be a difference, wouldn't it? You would, in effect, have Northern Ireland as part of the customs union with Southern Ireland, and the rest of the UK would not be part of
that. I think is what
the customs union.
Theresa May's red lines is I think, Andy, is what you're saying is one of Theresa May's red lines is that the Northern Ireland stays a part of the United Kingdom. It is the United Kingdom of Northern Ireland and Great Britain. So it's worth perhaps clarifying. Great Britain is England, Scotland and Wales. The United Kingdom includes Northern Ireland. And Theresa May is quite adamant that no Prime Minister, certainly she said earlier, she doesn't believe any Prime Minister would ever sanction the breaking up of the United Kingdom. Can I ask you both to hang on just...
Even if it's not the breaking up, it's a treating differently of the life. It's not necessarily breaking up.
No, absolutely.
Northern Ireland would still have the same government, but it wouldn't be a breaking up, but it would be a partial, if you like, de-unification, if you see what I'm saying. It would
understand what you are saying, Andy.
Alteration of the United.
It wouldn't actually be that far.
Say again, Jason.
Fair enough saying what Theresa May wants and what she doesn't want, but what about unionists in Ireland, which are part of the UK government now? Sorry.
Stay with me. And Jason, will you stay with me for just a moment? It's 20 minutes past 3. We'll take a quick break for the news headlines. We will come back to both of you gentlemen in just a moment. It's BBC Radio Kent. Here's Laura with the headlines.
Theresa